Hey guys, welcome to Betrayal of the Body. Nikita here, and today we're going to talk about our trip to Jamaica and how cyclical vomiting syndrome destroyed it. So first things first, if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to my channel. We upload weekly and we talk about what it's like living with chronic illness and being a cancer survivor. But into this week's juicy details. We're going to do a story time about my honeymoon and how that went. Back in August 2013, I got married to my husband Keebler. We had a small wedding in Vegas with friends, and then in September we had a small backyard wedding for family celebrating, but we couldn't really afford a honeymoon. My cousin, he decided to do something super wonderful and generous, and he offered to babysit my 3 children and also pay for a hotel suite for the weekend while my husband and I had like a little staycation honeymoon in San Diego. So we went up there, we dropped the kids off, he set up a room, and lo and behold, what happened? We got stuck in an elevator for like 2-3 hours, whatever. I don't know, it felt like eternity because I didn't realize until that very moment that I was claustrophobic, but yeah, I totally freaked. And I was screaming and freaking out and being a total drama queen the whole time, thinking that would speed them up. It did not. It definitely did not speed them up in the slightest. They took forever, felt like forever. Anyways, that was our pre-honeymoon. And so then we were just like, okay, you know what? We're going to save up and we're going to do the real deal whenever we can. If it takes us 10 years, whatever, we're going to do it the right way. And so we started saving. It took 3 years for us to save up enough money to go on a real honeymoon. And so we got all our money together, cracked open the piggy bank, cashed it in, ordered our passports. We're ready to go. Where are we going to go? We picked to Jamaica. We wanted to go somewhere tropical and on the beach where we could just relax and just enjoy the beautiful weather. 2 days prior to leaving for Jamaica, I ended up in the emergency room vomiting. This was before I had my cyclical vomiting syndrome diagnosis, so neither I nor the doctors had any idea what was going on, and they assured me that this would pass in a couple of days and to go ahead and go on my trip. Wanting to believe them, I did. I was still sick when we left, but I had faith that the doctors would be right this time and that this would go away and I would still be able to enjoy my honeymoon that I had waited 3 long years to have. We arrived on a Tuesday. That was our first day there, and when we got there, we just wanted to sleep off our jet lag, take a look around the grounds, see where we were at, see where everything else was. And then they had for dinner this potluck out on the grassy area. We went out and joined in for that. Gathered a few things that seemed easy to eat because, keep in mind, still feeling pretty sick. Managed to eat some, not much, and then I started getting, the nausea got pretty severe, and we ended up having to leave dinner early and go back to the room where I threw up everything I ate. But I was able to get to sleep okay, woke up the next morning feeling great, and we did everything we could. We started checking things off our itinerary. So we did a couples massage, we went down and swam in the ocean, swam in the mineral pool. We took pictures. We went kayaking. We had a lot of fun on Wednesday. Sorry, excuse me. Then was time for a 5-star dining experience for dinner. And so we got all dressed up in our finest gowns, and he was wearing like a suit, and we looked all snazzy. And we go out to dinner, and the food was beautiful. It tasted amazing. We got through the appetizers, and then the main dish came. Got through a couple of bites of the main dish, and the nausea came back pretty severe. So I went to the bathroom hoping that I could just throw up a couple of times and then go back and enjoy the rest of dinner, or maybe at least dessert, you know. No. I just started throwing up over and over and over and over and over and over again. It didn't give me a break. I couldn't even, I mean, here I am in this beautiful ball gown on my knees, hugging the bathroom toilet of a restaurant, puking my brains out. I mean, so loud, the staff knew something was wrong and went and got my husband and had him come to the bathroom and get me. And even then, there wasn't like it wasn't like his presence made me stop throwing up. So, you know, I had to wait for it to slow up at least. And then we managed to get back to the room, not without feeding a few potted plants on our way. We got there, and I spent the rest of the night puking, listening to the rest of the resort celebrating the paradise that we were in, and I'm throwing up all night long until the light coming through my window was no longer party lights, but it was the sunrise coming up. And at that point, my husband was like, we need to call the resort and tell them that you're sick and see what we can do. And so they sent a nurse in to come and check on me, who immediately called a doctor to come and check on me.
Oh, honey.
So your opponent's attacking you, and you hit in, take a counter-attack, and call it stop hit, as it stops the attack. And you must then run away and make sure your opponent's attack doesn't hit you, because you don't have the right to drive away. And this time it's a closing counter-attack, and I think Bakri has had a spirit broken a little bit here. Again, it was Bakri's attack, and Chichester came in.
Oh, honey. Honey. Roll over.
So here we are on Thursday. The doctor came and saw me sometime in the afternoon, and he set me up with an IV bag in the hotel room. And it was like hanging from a clothes hanger off the closet or off the lampshade or something. I don't really remember, but it was hanging off of some weird thing, not an IV pole. But it was right there in the hotel room, which I thought was kind of nice, you know, that I could like just relax in this hotel room and get the IV. But so we did that. Got several bags of IV throughout the night. Never stopped throwing up. Even when there was nothing left to throw up, it was just this like constant dry heaving or blood or stomach bile or something would come up. But at this point, I wasn't urinating, and I wasn't holding anything down, and I was still throwing up even though nothing was going in except for the IV, and I was still showing signs of dehydration. So Friday morning, when the doctor came to check on me, he decided, nope, it's time, you need to go to the hospital. So Friday, we went to a Jamaican hospital. The first doctor saw me right away and started an IV and requested a G-tube and catheter. I was led to the ER, a large room full of cots, a few curtains barely concealing extreme trauma patients. Most patients were in chairs or on the floor. Minimum of 100 patients in this room, packed in like sardines. They then approached me, sitting in my wheelchair, and asked me to spread my legs for catheter placement, right there in front of everyone. They pulled out the G-tube, and I immediately knew it was too large for me. They said they had no other sizes. She just kept jabbing, and I tried my hardest to swallow, but then she said it was in, and I couldn't breathe or bring my head back down as I was looking up at the ceiling. I tried to scream and flail to get it out. They reluctantly and with complaint finally removed it. My throat hurt for weeks. This is also when I realized that they don't have tissue paper or toilet paper in the entire hospital, just coarse paper towels, and they were only found behind the nurse's station. They never attempted the G-tube again. I was given 8 bags of IV. The doctor... an IV simultaneously going in it. I had just finished my 12th bag. I was given 8 bags of IV. The doctor said, let's run another line. Now both hands have an IV bag simultaneously running. I had just finished my 12th bag when I realized that I looked pregnant. I told the doctor I don't think the bags are draining properly because it's not going in the bag, and I have had a blockage in my kidney before that caused it to rupture. She said I was just really dehydrated and there wasn't excess fluids for my bladder. My body was just still absorbing it all. And that's why nothing was coming out in the catheter. She then walked over to my nurse and said to move me to pre-op and walked away. The nurse came to us about 5 minutes later as if to move us, and I asked why I was having surgery and several more questions like, what are you cutting out of me and what's wrong and what do you think it is? If you're going to do surgery, why? And she said, well, you should have asked your doctor that. And I was like, well, she didn't mention anything to me about surgery. Go get her and I will. Oh, well, she's already gone. Mind you, I just saw her like 10 minutes ago. And I was like, well, tell her to come back, And she argued with me some more. Finally, they go and they call the doctor. She comes back. Clearly had been home. And now at this point, I have been at the hospital for like 12 hours, 9 hours, something like that. I mean, it was a ridiculously long time. We're now into Saturday. And keep in mind, at no point during this time was my husband allowed to sit down. And if he wanted to, he could sit on the floor. He was thrown up on by other patients twice during our stay there. And it was just so bad. So when we realized that at this point they were refusing to tell me why I was going to have surgery, my doctor comes back, she talks to me, and she tells me, no, I'm not going to tell you why I want to do surgery on you, and pretty much gave me a, do you want us to help you or not kind of a statement. And I told her, if you're not going to tell me why you're cutting me open, then I absolutely do not want you to help me. I want to go home. I think I can make it back to the United States, and I will let them cut me open if that's what's necessary. And so I left against medical advice, and me and my husband went back to the resort, and we called our travel insurance and airlines and, embassy and everybody we needed to try and get back to America as soon as possible. Having no idea at this point what is wrong with me, but now wondering if I really do need surgery or not. And let's not forget to mention why I looked pregnant when we decided to check ourselves out against medical advice, now here comes all the tubes coming out of me. So they removed my IVs and they removed my catheter. And when they removed my catheter, I then proceeded to gush like 2 gallons of liquid. At least it looked like 2 gallons of liquid immediately. Just lots of water. And so when I explained this to the doctor at the embassy, they had said that what had happened was that the catheter was likely placed incorrectly, and it was actually preventing my bladder from draining, and all those bags of fluid that they just kept pumping into both arms was just making my bladder blow up like a balloon, a lot like my kidney did. And thankfully for me, I put a stop to it before it popped. So that was my depressing honeymoon story. If you liked this video, like, share, and subscribe. We post every week about living with chronic illness and being a cancer survivor, and share stories that highlight how it affects even our happiest moments sometimes. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.
Hold me close till I get up.